According to one Reddit user, I started watching adult stuff and touching myself when I was 12 years old, and I only found out about NoFap in my second year of university, when I was psychologically and physically tired. In a desperate search for motivation and inspiration to carry me through the day and the rest of my life, I would spend hours every day on Quora reading through hundreds of articles covering topics like self-help and life guidance. I touched myself about 4 times a week from the time I was 12 until the end of my first year of college, and nearly once a day during my first and second years of college, when I also experienced the worst bouts of despair, fatigue, and worry of my life. I was aware that something wasn't right with me, given that I wasn't always this way, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was. One day, when I was perusing Quora, I came across an essay about the flaws of PMO. This was the most likely reason for my shyness, mental fogginess, lethargy, worry, hair loss, and sweating a lot. A video on YouTube titled The Great Adult Content Experiment provided an explanation of NoFap and was linked in the article. After viewing it, I understood why my life was deteriorating and could now begin to fix it. I took a trip down memory lane and noticed that my physical and mental decline coincided with my discovery of adult material. That was the beginning of my fight to start investing in grown-up material instead of frivolous pursuits. I have done all in my ability, both mental and physical, to terminate this situation since that day, but to no avail. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive about how hard times helped me develop the persistence I needed to keep looking for the answer until I found it. I reached a turning point in my life where I was granted favor by a higher power. Even though I said I didn't have any of these desires before, that doesn't mean I'm immune to eroticism or a desire for physical closeness. On the contrary, I feel both almost every day. There's nothing but a simple need to have physical contact that comes to mind. I've learned what anyone would learn, that yearning is totally distinct from the desire to engage in self-pleasure or to consume adult media. Both have their pros and cons, but the former is transient and natural, while the latter is unnatural, alluring to the point of obsession, and causes excruciating mental pain and suffering if rejected. Please have a look at my advantages as listed below. Number 1. Energy. By day 30, this began to pick up steam, and by day 94, it had reached a glorious peak. I set a personal record for longest run on day 94, when I covered 22.2 kilometers in 2 hours and 8 minutes. From day 94 on, I've had the same jolt of energy I get from coffee. I've been able to get a lot done in a short amount of time, and I feel like I have infinite reserves of energy to keep going. I realize that the reason most people put off doing things is not laziness, but rather a lack of motivation to get started and see a task through to completion. If everyone had more stamina, responsibilities would be easily fulfilled. I also don't feel like stopping my workouts to rest and recoup. I no longer have muscle soreness or fatigue after running for less than 2 hours, and I can exercise every day without any negative effects. Before my senior year, I couldn't run more than 10 kilometers without having to rest for at least 2 days. Number 2. Making direct eye contact. Making and keeping eye contact with others, which used to be tough for me, is now second nature. So, I had a lot less trouble making eye contact after 30 days, and they were completely gone after 70 days. Number 3. The development of greater sympathy and understanding. You'll be able to love more deeply and for longer. I think this shift occurs because, for whatever reason, we are starting to view others as more than just means to an end. This will have a big impact on your relationships with other people, especially women, because you'll start to see them as more than just fun. After 40 days, I started to notice this. Number 4. People's stares and curious looks. This started at around day 25 and continued until day 65. I have no idea why it stopped. People used to wave and smile at me frequently when I was younger, and kids would stare and wave at me on the street and from moving public transportation vehicles. But now at day 65, nobody does. No, it's not a sugar pill, but this stuff does work. Number 5. Synchronicities. Since my mid-30s, I've been having a recurring dream in which the numbers 1111 appear repeatedly. Even now, I find it awkward to bring it up in conversation because of how strange it makes C retention sound. Hence, I rarely discuss it, but you already know. Number 6. Hair growth. My hairline advanced by around 2 millimeters, and hair appeared on my chest for the first time. My temples, which had previously begun to recede, are also beginning to show signs of improvement. Only until I got my haircut did I realize this. Number 7. Interactions with others. Newfound confidence makes interacting with others easier than ever. Number 8. Clarity of thought. I had to deal with this one intermittently throughout my journey, and it was incredibly annoying. However, now that I have achieved mental clarity and eliminated brain fog, I find that it is much simpler to create and maintain original thoughts. Speaking clearly and recalling information from memory have become incredibly simple and have given me a renewed faith in my brain's capacity. The fact that you have come to this conclusion is a huge boost to your confidence, as it proves to you that you are capable of meeting the daily obstacles of life that only a few months ago seemed insurmountable. For more than a month, this persisted. Number 9. How well you can concentrate and comprehend what you're reading. Because of the sharpness of my mind on day 90, I'm able to enjoy this benefit to the greatest extent. Before my senior year, I had completed my first novel. However, I had a hard time keeping my focus when reading. After just 10 minutes of studying, I have a dull headache and want to sleep or watch YouTube videos on my phone. It was enjoyable to study, play chess, and otherwise engage in mental activities when I was younger before I started touching myself. After 70 days or more of retention, I began to feel like myself again, and the thought of all the time I wasted in my zombie state often made me cry. Number 10. Countless things have happened to me that have made me invested in life. I don't know how to explain it. It's as if every one of my senses has sprouted millions of tiny neuronal branches and begun to alter reality itself. I feel like I'm really here, that I'm not just thinking about other things. After 70 days, this started. Number 11. I've now started to accept reality for what it is. Like the veil has been lifted, I can now see reality for what it is. I seek the truth and am quick to point out errors, lies, or extraneous information. I hope someone can help me put this into words in the comments, but the simplest way to put it is that I've recently begun to view things as they really are, unfiltered by any preconceived notions or prejudices. Applying this newfound knowledge to my past actions has shown me just how naive I've been. This has, in my opinion, made me wiser because, from that point on, I have sought the truth out with my eyes closed. When I take the time to sit down and think about a topic, idea, or problem, I always find new insights and angles. It's as if the thought I'm holding in my head is slowly turning around as the focus of my attention shows me that it's feasible. There is tightness and pressure in my pelvic floor muscles. Number 12. Joy in life's simplest pleasures. It's amazing how doing mundane tasks like washing the dishes or watching trees sway in the wind or gazing at the stars or listening to music can fill you with a sense of reassuring joy once your dopamine receptors have returned to their proper positions. As I savor these moments, I can't help but reflect on how much I've deprived myself of normal life over the years. Around day 30, this began to improve and has continued to do so. These are only some of the most salient observations I've made. I wish I had known more about retention before I started college, since these past 5 months have been the most enlightening and wonderful of my life. If things had gone differently, I'm virtually positive that I would have graduated at the top of my class. I can't turn back the clock, but I can make the most of the time I have now. If it weren't for God's grace, I would never have made it this far. And now that I have no intention of ever watching adult content or touching myself again.